Craig, we haven't done a podcast in a long time. So many interesting and important events have taken place. Let me start by saying that Trump, the supposed peace president, has issued a statement that it bans unconditional surrender from Iran or they will assassinate the Iranian leader. Is this the equivalent of meet the new boss, same as the old boss?
Yes, of course. It's even worse, Soren, because we're not at war with Iran. So how is he giving a demand for unconditional surrender? That's a we haven't declared war with Iran. We're not at war with Iran, so that doesn't make any sense. And the threat to murder a head of state, that's a criminal action. I don't know why Trump feels secure talking like that. It doesn't reflect well on the United States government that he's threatening to murder heads of state of other countries. We may be at war soon, though, because Putin today in a press conference removed the last barrier to the United States and Israel joining together and attacking Iran. And Putin stood aside from Iran. He said that he was concerned with the security of the Israeli state, and he was asked in the press conference about the Russian treaty with Iran, and he says it does not cover military matters. That we don't have, that Russia's not any responsibility for helping Iran in the war. And so he has stood aside, and I think that was the last barrier. I don't think Washington was sure how the Russians would take an attack on Iran that they have shown some sort of alliance with. But Putin stood aside. So that clears the way for a major war. I don't know if Putin understood that he was giving the green light. So if Trump takes it, if Trump takes the green light that Putin so foolishly extended to him, I suspect we'll see Trump doing exactly what Netanyahu wants him to do, which is to use the bunker busting bombs and try to destroy the Iranian nuclear facilities. Now, this is a very strange thing because there's no evidence that the Iranians are engaged in making nuclear weapons or even in enriching uranium up to the level required. And the director of United States National Intelligence just told Trump that according to the American intelligence services, there is no evidence that Iran is engaged in nuclear weapon development. And Trump said, I don't care what she says, because Netanyahu told him different. And Netanyahu knows, but not the American intelligence service.
I think it is very puzzling that Putin would not defend Iran because, by all accounts, Putin and his men are dependent upon the Iranians to produce the Shahad drones and other equipment which they are using in the war against Ukraine. So why would he not try to protect his own strategic interest?
Well, I have no idea. But that aside, why would he give a green light to what will certainly be turmoil on his borders? And if we succeed in overthrowing the Iranian government, then that opens up the pathway for the CIA jihadists to enter into the Muslim areas of the Russian Federation. So it strikes me as a very foolish action on Putin's part, and he should have said something entirely different. He should at least left it uncertain as to how Russia would respond. He shouldn't simply have given a green light.
Right. It's very clear from his statement that he's not going to do anything. And apart from it disrupting his supply of Shahad drones and other equipment they're getting from the Iranians, which they're using all the time, it will also demonstrate that he's the world's worst ally. This will not benefit Putin in any way whatsoever. And it's really strange because when you look at the battlefield, they have lost a lot of equipment. So let's say that they're so materially stretched that they couldn't possibly assist Iran. Well, at least he could pretend like he could do it. The statement you published earlier is very clear that it's not going to do anything. He gives the green light, as you said.
Yeah.
Why would he do that?
Well, I don't know. Clearly, he's very averse to war, and why I don't know. But he doesn't use force, or he uses it only in a minimal way. And we've had the complaints about the way he conducts war from Prigozhin. We've had it from the Chechen leader, various of the troops. So I have no idea. Maybe he thinks if given enough time, the West will come to its senses. But I think that's a false hope. So we now have, I think, a third part of this program before we run out of time, and that is what will Trump's position favoring going to war for Israel do to his supporters at home? They elected him to be the president of the United States, not to be a president for immigrant invaders, a president for diversity, equity, inclusion, a president for Netanyahu. And here he is now all involved in foreign conflicts while he is having all kinds of problems at home. The Democrats are using the courts to block his deportations. The state and local Democratic officials are blocking his deportations. The Democrats are funding riots. He has all these kinds of challenges. So why is he wandering off into a war? I don't think a war with Iran, if Iran fights, then they may not because of the fear of being nuked. Wander off into a war for some other country. We've already destroyed 5 countries for Israel. Iran would be the sixth. Saudi Arabia is 7 on the list. But the other day, Netanyahu added Pakistan. So they're now 8. Well, Pakistan has nuclear weapons. That's more risky than Iran. And I suspect the 8th country will be Turkey. So the whole thing is a mare's nest. It shows that I think Trump is failing as a leader. I think Putin has failed as a leader. The Muslims in general have sat on their butts passively and been knocked off one country at a time. And I don't see exactly why that's going to stop. So the Muslims, unable to take the initiative, have left themselves sitting ducks. And I think that Putin is going to find that he's got more troubles than ever. I don't think the Chinese are going to be happy about losing their Iranian energy supplies. China's kind of in the position Japan was in the 1930s. They didn't have any energy. Roosevelt blocked them from having energy and forced a war. And so when China tried to supply itself with oil from Libya. We overthrew Libya. They lost all that investment, and now it looks like they're going to lose all this investment they've made in Iran. And so this is not a good thing. And it seems to me that Putin should have given a lot of consideration with China to the situation in Iran. And then they could have simply announced that they don't look with favor on this. They could have gone further and said that their nuclear umbrella covers Iran. And that would have been the end of it. There wouldn't be any more fight. Instead, Putin ran for cover and gave the green light. And so I think if there's a war, it's largely Putin's fault.
Right. Do you think that it was predictable that Trump would enter a war with Iran based on his first term? After all, he assassinated Soleimani, among other acts.
Well, Trump is very much agreeable to do whatever Israel wants. You remember the United States was the first country that moved its embassy to Jerusalem. So, and of course, Trump's supporters were the mega billionaire Jewish people. And so I figured the only possible way that Trump would stay out of it would be his realization that if he goes to war, then his domestic agenda is on the back burner, and everything he promised, there's no time, there's no attention, because war is a more serious thing. And I thought that he would try to deliver the domestic agenda and the peace that he promised. Instead, he's going to deliver war. I think it's going to piss off his supporters, and it'll leave him vulnerable if the establishment turns on him. And they probably will. And the great danger that I think we face from Trump is that he ends up discrediting MAGA America. The Democrats get back in, the House and Senate control. They impeach Trump. They prosecute him. They impeach his government and prosecute them. And then they're back to DEI and making white American heterosexuals second-class citizens. The borders reopen, and the whole effort to prevent the country from becoming a Tower of Babel is over and finished. So I think this is what Trump is risking. And I don't know if he's smart enough to realize that. But this is the real risk, is that the United States is lost, the Democrats take over, and the country is finished.